Today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make these abstract alcohol ink coasters. Okay, so here are the supplies that you'll need. First, you're going to need a tile, or 4, depending on how many you want to make. This is just your basic home tile for bathroom floors or whatnot. They're pretty cheap. You can get them at Home Depot or Lowe's in a box of like 100. Second, you're going to need, well, first let's go to this. You're going to need some type of vinyl. This is the Aura Mask. Oh, Aura Mask 813, and that works really well. Also, the Oracle 631 works pretty well. Those both hold against the alcohol ink. They mask really well, and they remove pretty easily. If you go up into the higher, like the Oracle 651, those are harder to remove. They still work, it's more effort, and sometimes they leave a sticky residue. So I'd stick with the Aura Mask or the Oracle 631. Also, any other quote-unquote removable vinyl will work, but I have not tried those. And so then you're going to need alcohol ink. This is a set that I got when I first started. It's not a high quality. It does work okay. And then I like to add the metallic to it, so this is like a mixative. It's silver. Also, you're going to need 91% alcohol. This is Walmart brand, and it works just great. And I put that alcohol in different containers. This one with a needle spout is available on Amazon, and this one is available at Dollar Tree. Then a palette, you can get palettes at Dollar Tree as well, or at art stores. And I just use the different wells for the different color variations that I'm going to use. And then the tool that I use in this one is just this tiny little micro brush. Can't really see what it is, but it's just a tiny little swab of cotton on the end, and it comes in a package that looks like this. Super cheap on Amazon. You get hundreds, so they are very disposable and not that expensive. So that's for the application of the alcohol ink, and then once you're done, you're going to need epoxy resin. I use this one, which is available at Home Depot or Lowe's, and it is super cheap. Not super cheap, but it's cheaper than like the actual art resins, and it does a good job, and it's heat resistant, so I like that about it. I tend to use more of it when I'm doing the coasters, so it goes a longer way. Then for the application, I have this fun little silicone brush. This is also from the Dollar Tree. There are variations of it available at art stores and on Amazon and such, but I've been able to get them at Dollar Tree so far. Okay, so to start out, we're just going to pick the design that you want to use and open it up in the Cricut or Silhouette and get it cut out. So once this is cut out, you'll weed it and apply it, and make sure you apply a lot of pressure to make sure there's no gaps underneath the vinyl for the ink to seep through. And then I don't have a video of me filling up these wells, but I've generally just do like 3 parts alcohol ink, 3 parts alcohol. And as you run out, you can make that more or less of alcohol or alcohol ink. The more alcohol, the more diluted the color is. The more alcohol ink, the darker the color is. That's something that I just play around with and switch up is however it fits my fancy. The variation makes for a really cool effect in the finished product. So you'll see that the wells run down, and then I fill them up, and it's never the same. It's never exact science. It's just kind of whatever. That's what makes this abstract. And usually I pick 2 wells, and I add a drop or 2 of silver in there, and that makes a really cool purpley silver effect on the finished product as well. So I'm working from one tile to the next and letting the tile dry before I come back to it. That's one big secret to doing this, is that you never put two wet dots next to each other, otherwise they merge and form a big dot, and it's not a dot anymore, it's like a pool. So I try to really keep it only with dots. And so first I'll fill in the white space, and then I will go in and fill in dots next to each other, but making sure that I'm never putting it next to a wet spot. So obviously it takes several layers, you go back and forth to each tile over and over. And here's the finished product. You can see the silver reflecting in the light, and you can kind of see the edges on the dots from the alcohol ink. Those will soften as we put on resin, so they won't be quite as harsh, but I still really like this effect. I think it's really cool, and the resin really brings it out and makes it glossy and just really cool. So now we're going to remove the vinyl, and because this is an intricate, delicate design, the vinyl is not coming off in one nice clean tear. It's gonna happen whenever you have these smaller, more delicate cuts, but just be patient and make sure you don't or scrape the tool across the ink, because it will scrape the ink off. And just get it off as best you can without touching the tile, because if you get your oils from your hand on, the resin won't work as well. Here is the finished product before resin, and you can see it turned out really well. There's no bleeding, there's nothing that came through, and that was on a super intricate design. This is the first time I tried it, so I was really impressed with how well it worked. A quick note here, you'll want to apply masking tape along the edges of the back, and you want to put these on some type of Stencil cup or wood blocks or something to keep them off the table so the runoff has a place to go. The masking tape is for the runoff as well. And then you mix one part in the resin, and I spread it out a little bit with a popsicle stick, and then come back in with the silicone tool and spread it out. And with this stuff, I like to just let it run off if it needs to. Get it all the way to the edge. If it runs off, fine. If not, fine. After about 10 minutes, I'll go through and try to clean up underneath and the edges to make sure there's no big globs. But the masking tape is there to help with that. So here we have the masking tape. It never comes off super easy, but I found if you do it within, after 24 hours, it comes off easier than if you wait several days for it to fully cure. And here's a close-up look at the finished product. And then you'll just want to add cork squares to the back, and done. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you'd like to see other tutorials. I'm always happy to share what I've found that works and doesn't work. Bye.